You are a confident woman. How did you build up that confidence?
I didn't know this until, again, the awareness exercises came in, but it came in through actually small wins give you confidence, and then bigger wins give you higher confidence and momentum, right? And even in school, I was very competitive. Like if I was getting a perfect attendance ribbon, that was going to be me. And, those small wins did it for me. And it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. I want to be in the top 10. I want to be the top.
Welcome to Adapt or Die Transformative Leadership Conversations. This is the show where I invite executives, CEOs, founders, and we talk about the moments that force them to pivot or to perish. I'm Andreas Pedersen. I'm a former tech CEO that turned into an executive and the founder of Leaders Adapt. Carolina, thank you so much for joining this podcast.
On the contrary, thank you for having me.
This is going to be awesome. You and I, we always go into deep, meaningful leadership conversations. The only thing I have to watch out for is not just spending 2 hours on a podcast, but
Yep.
we'll do our best. Okay, so you have led multiple businesses. You have obviously faced challenges, and also you are running a family-owned company, and we're going to go into that as well. But tell me a little bit about how does a normal day look for you with everything that is going on with the family, with friends, and everything else?
Yes, thank you. I think you forgot to mention I have 3 kids, and that is the biggest role and my most important hat, right? That I have to wear every day. So my day starts off with them, obviously, either dropping them off at school or during the summer, letting them sleep before I tiptoe out of the house and into my business ventures. And when they're in school, I'll drop them off, then head into work. I will start off visiting my job sites. If I don't have any potential quotes that I need to do, I will either meet with clients or visit my job sites and then meet with my team and handle all the painting needs for that day.
And just explain a little bit what it is that you actually do, because it's not just a painting company, it's a luxury painting company with a very unique niche.
Yes, it is. So we have the privilege of working for the top 1% clientele. It's a high-end residential painting. Thank you for pointing that out. And I came into this niche about 20 years ago, coming right out of high school and not knowing that I was going to be doing this for the last 20 years. But yes, it's a very unique type of painting and a very unique type of clientele that we are privileged to serve in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And how many employees do you currently have?
We have over 50 employees,
Wow.
and yes.
Uh, I I have to ask, and this is a leading question. Up to about a month or two ago, how many of them were women?
Only myself. We have had a couple of women painters come through here, but life happens and their families grow and their families outgrow them, so they end up leaving. But we're open to women painters all the time. They're welcome.
Tell me a little bit about the challenges that you have experienced being the founder, being the CEO of the company, and then being the only woman at these construction sites. They're typically very male dominated.
Oh, are they very male dominated? So there has been several phases. I didn't come into a CEO role. Like I mentioned, I came out of high school into this bookkeeping role. The partner for Louis Gloria then had hired me to come take over their books right after college. And they were undergoing an IRS audit at the time. And I helped clean up the books, helped them through that IRS audit, and gained Lewis's trust and confidence because he did not foresee this 18-year-old solving their IRS issues or their bookkeeping issues for that matter. As I was able to gain his trust and confidence, we became best friends. And he mentored me in the business. He allowed me the opportunity to sponge in and learn all of the years of training that he had had, how to deal with a particular clientele, how to deal with designers, architects, and meet those expectations that come with serving this particular clientele, right? And he was my mentor. He still continues to be my mentor because he has seen a lot more than I have in this business. And that is one of the most wonderful things that has ever happened to me, is having this mentor be willing to teach me and give me the opportunity to follow in his footsteps, because it was this 18-year-old girl that walked into his office that would continue to run his business for him and allow him to really be creative and strong in the areas that he was strong in, and allow me to help him grow what he was lacking and needing to fortify.
Yeah, I met the guy, and he is, I'm a big fan, you know that. He is a very down to earth, very passionate, emotional, caring individual. And I wish the world had more men like him, to be honest, that really want to sponsor and help an up and coming person all the way up to the top, and not only help them up there, but then truly let you run it. It's been, as long as I've known you, it's been amazing to witness.
Oh, he's been amazing to have in my life.
With that said, Carolina, obviously there's always going to be, like, it's still working with, he is today also, he became family, and that's a whole different discussion, where, yeah, you can tell the story, but tell me a little bit about how is it to be working with other family members? What are some of the challenges? And if you have listeners here who are just about to start working with their family members, what would you advise them to really think of before they dive headfirst into something?
Communication, sharpening up communication skills, and before jumping into any partnership, or especially with family, because you don't want to harm those relationships because of money or miscommunication. So I think number one is know thyself first. Know thyself first and know what you want out of this. Know what you don't want, and make sure that those boundaries are set and those expectations are put on the table from day one. Because if you don't communicate, that person is not going to know to read your mind, to read your brain, to read your emotions, if you don't use your words and lay them on the table.
I love that. I wish so many people could take that advice. I see people who just focus on the positive. They don't take the time to get to know who they are, and they actually don't speak up. You guys actually communicate, and you can communicate in a very healthy way. With that said, you have had challenges, obviously, throughout the years. Give me a specific example where you are super proud of what a challenge that you overcame, and you were leading it, and also for other people listening to this podcast, what was it that made, like, what advice would you give them so they don't do the same mistake? Does anything come to your mind?
There was a recent challenge where dad, and when I refer to my dad, it's Louis Gloria, because he did end up becoming family over the years. Um, Dad had to leave to Mexico for 3 weeks, and we had a show house to turn over. And it's the Kip Space Show House actually raises money for the Boys and Girls Club in New York. That's how that foundation started. And it's a fundraiser. And in this fundraiser, we actually gift, or not gift, we donate our services for this show house. Dad was in Mexico, and there was a challenge with the color not being accurate as we had sampled and thought it was going to come out. The designer called and said, "Hey, we need to meet on site. We need to troubleshoot this." And at first, I doubted myself, and I said, "Oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this?" And I think doubting ourselves and our capabilities and our experience hinders us. And I showed up. I said, "You know what? I can do this." I showed up and I said, "Why don't we try?" I went to the paint store that morning, bright and early. We were meeting at 9 o'clock. So I was at the paint store 7 o'clock. I tried different things. If plan A wasn't going to work, I had plan A, plan B, and plan C. Something is going to work because I've done this for quite a long time now. And I had to put that resistance aside, right? That thing that tells you you can't do this. I put it aside and nailed the plan A right away on the first go. And she approved the color. We had a wonderful show house. Dad came back from Mexico and he said, "I thought you guys were troubleshooting this." I said, "Yeah, we sure did. We troubleshot it and we got an approval and here you are. Here's your room." He's very gracious to look at me and say, "You're doing a fabulous job." And he leads with vulnerability. He's taught me that to lead with vulnerability, to take care of our team, to be humble and grateful to have them be part of our team. And I've learned many, many lessons from my dear mentor.
I want to say, Carolina, witnessing all the things you have accomplished, but also you really see your employees as family. There's a lot of people who talk about that, but you really see them as family, and I think that is very impressive. And I know several stories you have told me where you need to protect your employees. But I think in these situations, like the example you just said, if we just switch back to the word resistance, can you elaborate a little bit on that? And what is it that makes you, when you fear resistance or fear, like how do you charge against that? What is it that makes you not go stagnant and like, no, I got this?
I have to be grateful to you for that, because you asked me to read this book when we
That's
were
not what I was
coaching.
looking for.
When we were coaching, you told me to read this book, The Art
Yeah.
of War.
Hmm.
Yes, The Art of War, right? Or am I switching it, The War of
The
Art?
War of Art.
The War of Art. See, I always
Hmm.
switch it. But you had me read this book, and now every time I sense any sort of resistance, I am quick to like, okay, there it is. Now I have an awareness to it. Now I'm aware it's there. Now I'm gonna back up like a little car that you slide back. Now we're gonna charge up and let go. Like we're just gonna let go and bring it on. And that's how I have like this little button, like, okay, I've recognized this. Now we're gonna charge and go.
I think you always had it. You always had it, seen from my perspective. The difference was that you became hyper aware and you just like, no, not okay. But I know you have always had it. You can do anything you set your mind to. It's just that the time frame from when you when it happens to you actually recognize the emotion is almost instant with you now, which is
Mhm.
very remarkable. And I think a lot of leaders should look at what you are doing because of that.
Absolutely. It's just the awareness and the taking action portion have shortened now.
Yeah.
Instead of dwelling in it and letting it eat at me, or, couple of days, couple of weeks, whatever it is, and spiral into a mood, spiral into a phase, has now shortened because of it.
Yeah, your emotional intelligence, social intelligence, self-control is remarkable. Sometimes you impress me, and I'm pretty hard-minded on myself when it comes to these things. I'm like, huh, if she can do it this fast, so can I. I have a provocative question for you,
Okay.
and it's a little bit an and or, but let's see. Do you think it's harder to earn the trust when you're the founder's family or when you're a Latina in construction?
Oh my gosh. I think you should add both. It's like you're the founder's family and you're a woman in construction. It's like, ugh, have a double whammy. But what I don't usually throw out the family card first, because I hide behind my Latina background and they know that Louis Gloria is this white, handsome man. They don't relate the two of us. I actually have to work on that, on how that story happened. But the being in charge part is difficult until I show my confidence, my knowledge, and the reasoning behind a certain process. And it's easily portrayed as, okay, she knows what she's doing, because I just allow the confidence to take over.
I'm going to paint the listener a picture here, pun intended. I was out visiting you in Dallas. We walked this massive mansion, 14,000 square foot. And you are, how do I say, You're not the tallest, you're not as tall as me,
I'm
but
not. I'm 5'1".
but you're running around in this building and you're like just everyone is just following you and you're just on it. I wish more people in general dare to have that level of command, and there is no question who's the expert in the room. There's no question that you know what you're talking about, but you're still very, how do I say it? You're very warm as an individual. You were listening to everyone, but you made it very clear, like, "Broop, now we're moving on. Next, boom, boom." And you weren't authoritative. You were warm but firm. And how, if you were to speak to some of the listeners to this podcast, what goes on in your mind? And I love the fact that you just are like that, but how did you grow into that?
I've been very observative. I listen and I watch more than I speak at first. And people seem to I watch a lot and I listen before I speak because I don't want to say the wrong thing and then have to work twice as hard to gain that confidence again. With my team, and when you say, yes, I'm authoritative, but I'm not commanding or like, this is how it's gonna go. Again, I'm gonna go back to my dad on that. Like, I count on my team to do the work, and I set the end goal, and then how they get there, I allow them to give me direction on how they would get there. And then we're a team, right? Like, they're the experts doing it. I do have the product knowledge and the end knowledge, but at the end of the day, if they are comfortable doing it a certain way, I'm going to lean on them to do that. And it's really just humbling to know, like, hey, I'm good at this. I can help them on this end. I'm going to rely on them to perform and do what they need to do. And they know that I trust them with that, and that I'm going to verify that they're doing that. So I think it's just been a relationship that we have developed to this
Yeah.
point.
And you know everything about everyone in the company. Like it's a family.
It's family. We have, you know, the reason why we know their families, we have this big party at the end of the year for where it's not just employees. It's like, bring your families. And I'm Hispanic. My mom's Hispanic. So we're with family, and these people work really, really hard at a job that is not something that everyone would sign up for. So I truly do value their efforts and the hard work that they put into day in and day out, because it's something that I wouldn't sign up for. But I'm grateful that they are willing and needing to put food on their table, and this is the way that they do so. And I'm grateful for that.
You are a confident woman. How did you build up that confidence? And you also have a lot of self-worth and self-awareness. How did you build that up? How would you advise others to grow their confidence?
I didn't know this until, again, um the awareness exercises came in, but it came in through actually small wins give you confidence, and then bigger wins give you higher confidence and momentum, right? So little wins at the beginning, you know, and even in school, I was very competitive. So anytime I could shoot, I was as competitive as to do perfect attendance. Like, if I was getting a perfect attendance ribbon, that was gonna be me. Like, I'm gonna go to school sick. I am gonna do whatever it is because I am getting that perfect attendance ribbon. And, those small wins did it for me. And it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. I want to be in the top 10. I want to be the top 10 girl. And it was just the competitiveness in me from the early years. And then it just, gives me gave me that those little doses of confidence built up until it's like I can do anything.
And you have to just start. You have to just take action. You
Taking
have to do
action.
something because you can't read your way through it. You can go a slow life and hoping you get it, but the more rejection, the more fear you face, the quicker you get there.
Just doing it scared. There's
Yeah.
something to be learned about. every step I've taken. I have messed up. I've messed up quite a bit. But those have been valuable lessons as well.
Before we shift into talking a little bit about how you have now shifted into raising capital for your real estate investment fund, how you have built your own real estate portfolio, I do want to ask this one last question about sort of the leadership mindset here. And that is, you have these successes, you have accomplished a lot in your life, you have a lovely family, very like lovely children, all of that, and husband. Do you ever get like that pinch me moment of, is this true? Or what if I lose it all tomorrow?
I've had both.
Walk me through that.
I have to say and be honest that I've had more of this isn't it. Like there's more. And I've had both of the examples that you've pointed out. Yes, what if I lose it? My husband and I started in a little one-bedroom apartment when we first got married, and I wouldn't mind going back to that, if I needed to. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me to go back there because we were okay. As long as we're still together and my family is with me, like we'll be fine wherever we are. That's the losing it moment. The pinch me if we're here. I haven't had as many of those because I'm like, okay, yeah, it's the journey part for me, but I've had more of them. I wonder what the next step looks like. Like we're not there yet.
I love that you shifted the answer away from fear-based to abundance, and I'm not done yet. Just watch me. I'm just getting started mindset.
Exactly.
Where do you get that energy from?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just I know it in my gut and that Heavenly Father has something else for me. And as long as I am faithful and helpful with others, I know that He will bless me. And it's just faith.
I love the mindset. I wish more people could understand how much is mindset and how big of a difference it makes your life. I often say on my podcast, life is long if you know how to use it.
You.
Carolina, you absolutely have cracked the code on how to use it, how to frame things positive, and always get the results. How, speaking of results, let me know a little bit about how did you get into, now you had your own real estate portfolio, you
Mm.
started the real estate investment fund. Um, Tell me a little bit about how that chapter, the next chapter of your life here, what is it that you're hoping to do? Why did you do it? How is it going?
So that real estate portion, I have to thank my prior CPA for because he was not doing his job. And I had to do it for him. And of course, that's why I said prior because he's gone. But I was paying too much taxes, and I kept hearing of real estate as a tax vehicle. Real estate, real estate, real estate. I'm like, okay. I'm also big on learning, to a fault, right? Like where I'm like want to learn about everything. But I dove into real estate. I'm like, okay, if I have this problem, I need to figure out how to offset this problem. And that's what first got me into real estate, right? How to pay less taxes. How are these people doing this? We began with one home, two, three, four, five, whatever it is that we're doing now with rental properties. Then we did a commercial building, then figured out, oh, there's a 1031 exchange. What is that? And I can move some of those funds into the next building and not pay any capital gains taxes on those. And you can buy up to 3 properties with that, with those gains. And we did that. And it's learning along the way and doing it scared but still doing it, right? Just surrounding myself with the right banker, with the right lenders, with the right professionals in that field and moving forward.
Okay, so you started a journey with the single family or multifamily buying those more for
Hmm.
tax reasons, right? And
Yes.
leveling that up for tax purposes. But how did you shift that into doing much more of what you're doing now, which is a fund and raising capital and doing other bigger deals? Like where did that shift come from?
So that shift came from running out of money. You run out of money quick when you do traditional financing and you do one, two, three, four, five single family homes. You're like, oof, okay, it's taking 20% down deposit. Now you where do you look for funds to keep going, to keep growing? Because you know that you need volume, now you need units. So then you find out that there's syndications that you can pull people's money together, that you can partner with other people and use other people's resources, other people's money. And that's when the light bulb went off. And it's like, oh, okay, now I don't have to do this alone with my own money. I can go out and raise other people's money, and they can be doing the same thing I'm doing and having fun with it and putting their money to work. Like, why isn't everybody doing this? And that's my goal, to like get the word out there and say, hey, once upon a time, I started this doing one, two, three thing house, but you can be doing it too. Do it with me. I've done it. You can trust me to do it and help you do it with you.
This might take the conversation in a direction that we didn't plan, but not that we planned that much of this conversation. But are you have mentioned to me that one of your dreams is to sort of set up a local communities for other for the Latino community and teach them how to do this.
Yes.
Can
That
you
is
tell me a little bit about this?
So the goal is to do monthly meetups or even workshops where I can share what I have learned through the years. Um, Whether it be communities with the Latinos or women or both. Um, my heart is with the youth because I keep going back to that mentor that was giving in knowledge. And I think that's one thing that our youth lack is they want instant gratification. They want instant payment. And I think they need to know that a mentor is worth so much more than that when they're willing to provide value, providing value first, and allow themselves to be mentored.
I love it. I love it. For anyone who is listening, um, w- how do you avoid, and I've heard this many times before, when you're raising fund, it feels like I'm selling them something. It feels like I am convincing them to do something else. How do you overcome that mindset of, no, I'm not selling them? What are you doing? Or why is it not a win-lose? How do you create that win-win feeling for the investor?
I used to think of it that way, I have to be honest, where I would be like, okay, how I'm going to pitch them. And I went through pitching actually where it felt like, yeah, I have to sell them something. And I was good at sales, and I've been good at sales, right? Because I have to sell my clients every day. But now I'm inviting someone to partake and be part of something that's going to get done with or without them, but it'll be a lot more fun for them to be a part of. And that's why I share with like our RV park that we just closed on. I have people reaching out that missed out on that chance, and now they're calling me and asking, "Hey, when's the next RV park coming? Like, we're ready." And now it's like, now you got to sit and wait because we don't just take any park or any opportunity. We want to take a juicy hit home run opportunity.
Exactly. And by the way, an RV park is not a mobile home. An RV park is a destination. It's where you go on vacation and spend time without the screen with your kids. And it's sitting around the campfire and s'mores more than, and camping more, but in nice RVs, more than a mobile home. I've learned, Carolina, I have to say that every single time because otherwise people think of something very different. Um, let's do a little bit of a lightning round. I'll ask you a couple of questions. There are no easy answers, but it's just the first thing, raw, unfiltered. I want to hear like what first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay,
Okay,
let's do
you
it.
ready?
Let's go.
One moment that taught you how to lead under pressure.
Oof. One moment. Oh, that's about a year ago. Our the building where we're leasing, our neighbor's side was on fire. And you laugh because I think you may have heard the story. Um, I got a phone call, and actually, I got a video of a car next to our building just on fire. And of course, we're a painting company. We have flammables right next door, and our neighbor was just there watching this car blow up in flames. I had to, one, get two people over here to figure out what was going on, making sure that everyone in the building had been evacuated, that the fire was actually under control, and that it wasn't blowing the whole thing up. And then finally, when I got on site, everyone had been panicked, and I had to remain calm during the whole thing, right? Like, okay, there are things that you can't change. There are things you can't do anything about. And the attitude that you choose to step into will make the difference. I think even at that point, the guys that were through the whole thing were looking at me like trying to shake me up, like, why aren't you reacting? But it was just like, hey, like, I'm glad that everybody's okay. No lives have been lost. Now we take things one step at a time. So it's definitely the attitude we choose to step into.
That is gold. I love that quote. It's the attitudes we choose to step into. And you not only went into that situation, you helped others calm down as well. Spoken like a true CEO and a true leader. Listeners, pay attention here. Okay, biggest myth about being a woman in construction.
Hmm. That we don't belong in construction? That is very, very incorrect. We need more women in construction. We need more women in construction because it's chaos out here, ladies. We need more women in charge, organizing these finished schedules and organizing these trades to come in and doing a good job efficiently in a timely manner and the right way.
Yeah, at the right quality, the
At
right
the
way.
right quality,
Yeah.
yes.
What does generational wealth actually mean to you, Carolina?
Generational wealth to me in my f- it the way I apply it with my children is the progress that I go through as a parent, I share with them so that they can their share with their children. Whether it's emotional, spiritual, physical, they have seen me work on my physical progress, doing things that I normally wouldn't do. I share with them. Um, and and then the money and the other stuff they'll see, but that generational wealth is really just sharing progress with them and sharing trauma that I had with my parents, things that I went through with my parents, healing from it, and continuing to heal that inner child and sharing with them that progress.
So good. So good. I wish more leaders did that because that inner child can become very loud the older you get if
Mm-mm.
you and you're not who you are. But I love the fact that you didn't answer with a monetary thing. You answered with it's the knowledge transfer. It's healing the scars and not making generational scars happen. Beautiful, beautiful. Favorite leadership quote or principle?
Mm. I'm always bad at quoting verbatim.
You have said multiple quotes throughout the
Yeah, I really
podcast
have,
today.
right? I actually listened to a friend's podcast yesterday, and she shared one that stuck with me, and I wanted to like screenshot it. And it was if the opposite was would still be true. Like if the opposite would still be true. And I think that's another little button to check ourselves and check our mindset. Like if you're feeling down or doubting something, if the opposite were in that situation, would this statement still be true? And then just catch ourselves in that time frame, in that mind frame. Our mind is just so strong.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I want to know, or now this is the part of the show where you get to tell everyone who listened. I mean, you dropped so many nuggets, Carolina. You're an amazing human. You have accomplished so much. Witnessing your journey have been a privilege for me. And but people, they want to either like, hey, I want to work with Carolina, or I want to learn more about you. Where do they go to find you? And what are the services that you sort of offer for them throughout your different companies and initiatives?
Thank you. One thing I do want to share that you helped me with a lot. And I remember going into or I think it was even our first coaching session. And you asked about my husband. You asked if my husband was in on the ride. And I think what I want to share with our audience out there is having a spouse that supports you is like the most like underrated hack out there, right? Like we talk about partnerships, business. The most important partner in life is going to be your spouse.
Yeah.
And doing it and bringing them along with to any business transformation, any learning, anything is key, right? And I have learned, like, I have an amazing spouse. I have an amazing supportive husband.
You're a power couple for sure.
He has seen some things where he's like, you are crazy. I am tired of your projects. I am tired of your, and then he sees them through, and then he's like, wow, he's in on it. But he also does it scared, and he also does it supporting. So to anyone out there that has a spouse that pushes them to do crazy things, like, do it scared with them. Like, just support them. And to those that are wondering if their husband's ever going to come around, do the thing and give them that example. And then they'll want to join you as well eventually. Like, there's got to be a point where they just have to open their mind and you have to show them the results. And you can find me on Instagram, carol.e.na. And I will be using that platform to talk about our workshops, our upcoming workshops, and our seminars,
I
hopefully
love
coming
it.
soon.
And then I want to also say to all the listeners, you should absolutely go and find Louis Gloria Painting on Instagram as well. And the reason is some of the houses you do are like Francesca paintings. It's kind of crazy. But I follow that, and yeah, you do amazing work, Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a wonderful team.
Okay, everyone who listened today, I mean, this was definitely an episode filled with nuggets and mindset things, especially for both men, but especially for women out there. I want to thank everyone who listened into AdaptorDie. Today's conversation really reminds me of why I do these podcasts, because I learn something every single time I talk to someone. And today I learned a lot. If you found this to be very interesting, I would really encourage you to share this podcast with another leader out there who could really benefit from hearing all the wisdom from Carolina. And when you do, please leave a 5-star review as well on Apple Podcast and or on Spotify. It helps the show grow, and it gets all these nuggets into the other leaders out there. Last thing, please remember, in leadership, we adapt and thrive, or we don't survive. Until next time.